pourquoi je suis en vedette. Ici. C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je n'ai pas demandé ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit. Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur debout qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous restez assis, parlez assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
I mean, it's so sad. The man just sat there, he farted. He kept looking at the pamphlet in his hand for minutes. That is supposed to be his speech. Then he farted again in public. He put down his pamphlet. His aide came back to prompt him to speak.
Ici? Pourquoi? C'est moi. Il n'y a personne.
The story of Africa being cursed is a lie. The biblical story of Shem, Ham, and Japheth that has been linked to Africa, or part of it linked to Africa, it's a lie. And if there's a curse in Africa, it's the curse of terrible leadership. Terrible leadership. And I mean leadership in all facets. Leadership in family, leadership in marriages, leadership in communities, leadership in society, leadership in specific spheres and industries. The leadership in the governance system. Because I don't understand. How can a 90-year-old man be marking his 40th anniversary as president and he cannot retrospect to consider how well the country has done in his 40 years reign? Yet, as I talk to you now, the idea of thinking of a succession for Biya of Cameroon is a taboo. It's a taboo. That's a country in Africa. Blessed in mineral resources, oil, bordered by the Atlantic Ocean, and has chances to be one of Africa's greatest agricultural exporting country, so to speak. Yet, Biya has sit upon the progress of the country, making one of the poorest in the world. That's it. Authoritative, dictatorial, tyrannical leadership. You can't talk. Masterminding one of the greatest mayhem in crisis in Cameroon. How can it? In developed countries, and that's make them better than Africa. When a president can no longer have grip about the peace, unity, and progress of the country, the person stays back. And it's like that in all industries. You see people resigning because of certain infractions, certain unavailability or incapacity to deliver on certain promises. But in Africa, we sit down doing nothing and we talk about it proudly. Biya is one of the biggest globetrotters and gallivanters in Africa, traveling around the world for just no cause, whereas the country is stagnant and retrogressing. Biya. Behind him or beside him is a failing head. You heard that video. He's unaware of his environment, totally unaware. He farts in public without control. And that's the man that is president. Africans continually hand over sick nations to sick people. Africans. And we say the problem is imperialism, is post-colonialism. It's a lie. Our minds, you will hear in an interview in the video that will be played just now. The man said that the country is doing well. Of course, when people say the country is doing well, it means they are doing well. The problem is that some of these guys are taking in a lot for themselves and their family. They don't care about the rest of us. A man is yet to be sworn in. He's traveling already for the second time in 2 months for medical treatment. Second time. You are handing over a sick country to a sick person. It doesn't work. It cannot work. I was going to look back or look forward to the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that the Nigerian political class and all institutions have agreed that must stand against the wish of the people. Let's consider Cameroon our neighbor that has yet to make a move beyond where they have been several years ago. And it's painful, right? It's painful. This is a continent that was bastardized, badly hit by trades, and then several infractions of our human rights, and several entrants of the Western world that came to destabilize, destructure, decentralize, and turn this particular continent to all sorts of very unpredictable situations, in crisis, in exploitation, and several others. I would think that by now this continent will put its foot on the ground and begin to ensure that all structures, all systems, all brains and minds will be put into gear to ensuring that the continent gets better. Yet, we are worse off than the colonial era. That's the truth. We are worse off. Independence of the political structure, but no independence of the mind, because those people that are in power have refused to allow progress to happen. We are only not being led by a white man, Lord Lugard, Richards, and several others. We are only not being led. But the people that bear our name and from us that are leading us are worse off than those that were there. What do you want to talk about slave trade? Africans are voluntarily traveling abroad now to become slaves to the slave masters. Go to the passport office. Go to the immigration office. Go to the airport and see the way Africans are living. Some people are applying for schools, for courses, for training, for programs, to nations that they don't even know what's going to happen, but they just want to leave because we have allowed men like this. The worst of us. The worst of us. Like Edmund Burke put it. Watch this video and share this video. It's my humble appeal that we should get it right as soon as possible. This set of leaders destroyed our fathers, destroyed our own generation, and they have vowed to destroy our children soon. But we will not allow them. Watch this video and share this video. Paul Biya of Cameroon now, democratic leader, taboo to replace him. Nigeria is playing along. Nigeria may be having an 8-year term of office for leaders, but then they have the mentality of a 40-year regime. And so when they get to power, they spoil everything. Buhari has finished everything, all the progress that we made. Even if we expect to have done better in PDP's government, but Buhari has destroyed everything. That's where we are now. Tinubu will come and totally finish it. Share this video, I'm out of here.
The world's oldest leader turned 90 on Monday, but some in Cameroon aren't celebrating President Paul Biya's milestone.
We live in a violent, brutal dictatorship.
Edith Carwalla was at the front of a crowd of students that welcomed Biya on a tour of the United States in 1984. Back then, there were hopes the new president would bring stability and democracy and end corruption.
Over the 40 years, it has gotten more and more violent and brutal. As we speak to each other today, we are in a moment where we always live with fear as Cameroonians. Fear is permanent.
Carwalla, who challenged Biya in a 2011 presidential election, says her support for him evaporated as economic progress stalled, dissenting voices were silenced, and separatist violence divided the country. A government spokesperson did not respond to calls seeking comment. But Biya has repeatedly defended his record in the past. He says the government has taken strides to return peace to minority English-speaking regions. Millions do also continue to support the president, though international observers have raised doubts about the fairness of elections that Biya routinely wins with ease. He regularly spends long stretches in comfortable European hotels with his wife, a frustration for those who believe the country's crises require closer attention. Taxi driver Kwam Eve struggles to make a living and criticizes what he describes as rampant corruption under Biya. He pauses as he speaks, though, mindful of who might be listening. At 90, Karwala says Biya should spend his days playing with his grandchildren. But the president's supporters, like former Minister Elvis Ngole Ngole, say there are advantages to Biya's age.
The wiser you become, the more experienced you become, the more tolerant you become.
Others disagree. Popular journalist and whistleblower Paul Shooter has been repeatedly beaten and tortured in recent years. The prominent Biya critic is one of several reporters who've been violently targeted. 2 journalists were killed in the last month, prompting condemnation from the United Nations. Shooter says if Biya wants to fix things for Cameroonians, then he should go. For now, the journalist lives in fear. Even the sound of his floorboards creaking, he says, sends him into a panic.
Wow, c'est sûr. Hein?
It's very interesting we're talking about peace and cooperation between South and South. How about peace and cooperation within a country? I was very delighted to hear that you start to talk now with those guys in the north. And that is really overdue. Do you hear me? Can you translate the question, please, to him? We now have a problem between, in the north of the country, English-speaking, and the French-speaking part of the country, and they have been fighting.
Alors, il demande par rapport à l'application de cette collaboration intra-nation à l'intérieur d'un même pays, faisant référence aux difficultés que votre pays connaît entre les différentes communautés.